Part 45. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 442. Now. Somewhere in an underground palace. An old man sits cross-legged here. His long hair is several meters long, and his beard falls directly to his chest. He is wearing an silkworm robe. He is skinny, but he has a lot of energy. A few days ago, Mu Qingkang personally sent a magic pill. After taking it for several days, it was finally completely refined today. Break! He shouted loudly. A huge amount of energy burst out of the body instantly. His dry body suddenly became bulging quickly, new flesh was regenerated, and his bones were transformed again. He has entered the realm of divine connection. Two rays of light burst out from the old man's eyes. Ha ha, ha 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 ha, I have become a god. His laughter, along with the powerful aura that just erupted, passed directly through the underground palace and shook the entire imperial city. Then, the old man took a step forward and turned into a rainbow, rising into the sky. Imperial City. Everyone felt the trembling of the earth, and they were extremely solemn. In the next moment, they saw several palaces being blown away, and a rainbow shot out of the sky. I saw an old man appearing in the sky. With his white hair like a waterfall, it can be seen that he has been practicing hard for countless years, and the aura exuding from his body at this moment makes everyone tremble. Psychic. He is a powerful person in the realm of divine connection. Ha ha ha, I, Mu Xianfeng, have finally attained the power of the gods. I will live another 3,000 years and live a glorious life. The old man was ecstatic and shouted. He is surprisingly one of the founders of the Muling dynasty, Mu Xianfeng. In the past, it was he and two other companions who left their ancestral village and founded the Wood Spirit dynasty. The two companions have died, but he has gone one step further. Greetings, ancestor. Congratulations to ancestor for your breakthrough. Greetings, ancestor. Congratulations to ancestor for your breakthrough. Greetings, ancestor. Congratulations to ancestor for your breakthrough. Below, everyone in the Muling dynasty immediately shouted with joy and knelt down one after another. The ancestor has made a breakthrough, great, the ancestor has become a god. Mu Qingkang was even more delighted and immediately saluted. Shangguan Tongruo, Mu Wangziu and others were also very excited. The stronger the ancestor is, the safer they are. On the sky, Mu Xianfeng smiled slightly and said. Everyone, please get up. No need to be polite. By the way, where are Hongbo and Hongyun? Why don't they come to see me? He asked. Before, at the critical moment of breakthrough, he did not perceive everything happening in the outside world. Just at the moment of breakthrough, I seemed to hear Mu Qingkang's voice calling for help. Hearing this, Mu Qingkang stood up, pointed at Mu Rantian, and said. Ancestor Qi, two clan elders have been killed by him. The bag in his hand is an ancestral artifact taken from the ancestral village. It is so terrifying that even iron axes and spears cannot stop it. Mu Xianfeng turned his head immediately, and first saw the arrogant old Teng. Taking root in the imperial city can tear an entire city apart. I didn't expect that a few grape seeds that I looked down on in the past could actually grow. He was a little surprised. Immediately afterwards, his eyes swept over the three people of Mu Rantian. He could see that Mu Rantian seemed to have just broken through the state of concentration, and the rice bag in Mu Rantian's hand. It's not simple, he can't see the origin. When I and others left in the past, they obviously took away most of the treasures in the ancestral village. I never found such a rice bag. He then looked at Muninshan, which was only in the Fusion Dao realm, not worth mentioning. His eyes fell on Mu Wanking, and his expression changed drastically. This aura. You, would spirit celestial body? Or stronger? He lost his voice and seemed to be in disbelief. The people of the ancestral village actually awakened such a divine body? A divine body has appeared in the ancestral village, but why is it trying to become our enemy? He looked at Mu Wonking and asked. Mu Rantian said coldly. Mu Wonking, the genius of our village, had previously awakened to the wood spirit celestial body, but was viciously deprived of it by the wood spirit dynasty. Come today, we want an explanation. When Mu Xianfeng heard this, he felt extremely confused. What was going on? He immediately turned his head and looked at Mu Qingkang. Mu Qingkang nodded and said, Ancestor, this is all for the dynasty. Previously, Mu Wonking awakened the wood spirit celestial body, but was unwilling to tell us how to evolve the celestial body. For the sake of the dynasty, we had no choice but to deprive her of her bloodline and graft it to Wangziu. That's why we were able to get help from the Qingyang sect, and that's why we got the Tongshen pill. I just didn't expect that Mu Wonking would actually go one step further, awakening the wooden spirit body. He told the truth very frankly, because he believed that his ancestor would not blame himself. A dynasty is not supported by justice, but by naked interests. Sure enough, Mu Xianfeng in the sky thought for a moment, then nodded and said, You did a great job for doing this for the greater good. After saying that, he turned to look at Mu Wonking and said, I cherish my talent, let's do this. You make an oath to forget your old grudges, worship me as your master, and serve the dynasty from now on. I will keep you alive, how about it? Hearing this, Mu Wonking shook her head and said, I thought that the Muling dynasty would have sensible people, but now it seems that I was worrying too much. Then let's fight. Mu Xianfeng shook his head and said, What a shame. After saying that, he waved his big hand suddenly. The endless strong wind swept towards the three people. Receive. Mu Rantian stepped forward, tried his best, and offered the rice bag again. The rice bag instantly enlarged, and the strong wind that could destroy everything was sucked into it. It's a good thing, but it's a pity that you are too weak. Mu Xianfeng sneered, and with a loud shout, a massive amount of spiritual power exploded. Fill that bag. Mu Rantian's face suddenly turned pale. This bag is undoubtedly a divine item, but it requires a lot of spiritual energy. He had just opened it once, and his spiritual energy was almost exhausted. It is extremely difficult to support again at this moment. I'm here to help you. Munichen also stepped forward and tried his best. However, the surge of spiritual power between the two of them was still difficult to sustain. The realm of divine communication is a watershed, and it is definitely not comparable to the realm of refining gods. Facing Mu Xianfeng is 100 times more difficult than killing Mu Zhenfeng. Finally, the two of them froze, their spiritual energy exhausted, and the bag suddenly fell. And here, even if there is a treasure, so what? Mu Xianfeng smiled slightly, stepped forward, and said, Bring it here. He went to arrest several people. At this moment, Mu Wonking finally stepped forward. Her expression was calm and resolute, and even when faced with a powerful person at the level of a god, she remained calm. Today, according to the decree of our predecessors, we will punish evil and promote good. She spoke, and a roll of rice paper appeared in her hand. Rice paper, slowly opened. A terrifying energy instantly emanated from the roll of rice paper. In an instant, the sky trembled. Everyone's expressions changed drastically, as if they were facing the supreme true God. At this moment, countless people fell to their knees with horrified expressions. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 443. Wood Spirit Divine Body. These 4 words shocked everyone to the extreme. You must know, the Wood Spirit Divine Body has never appeared in the Great Ruins realm. Even, it is not visible in all the heavens and worlds. It can only appear in the divine realm. However, at this moment, one actually appeared in the great ruins realm. How can it be? Wasn't this woman deprived of her wood spirit body? Why did she become a god again? The legendary physique, is this going to defy heaven? Everyone exclaimed. Did I marry the wrong person? Gu Fenjian of Qingyang sect looked at Mu Wanqing with eyes full of fire. Wood spirit divine body. This is my ideal Taoist companion. He suddenly felt that the wood spirit celestial body was completely worth mentioning. Next to him, Taoist Si Dong also had a hint of greed in his eyes. The wood spirit divine body, such as entering the Qingyang sect. He was already making plans. Wangziu. Shang Guantongruo hurriedly ran forward and hugged Mu Wangziu. Mu Wangziu's whole body was trembling, her face was pale, and her breath was confused. At this moment, her eyes were full of unwillingness. She raised her head with difficulty and said, "No. Why did I lose? I am obviously a wood spirit celestial body, invincible in the world. Why? Why does God favor you so much? Why do you have such good luck? Why? Why?" Her eyes were crazy, filled with unwillingness and jealousy, and her whole body was almost split and twisted because of this jealousy. He has clearly reached the smooth road of life, and will have a smooth journey from now on, and his name will be spread throughout the great ruins world. Now, it failed miserably. The divine body is born. Why doesn't God favor me once? Why do you have to give such good gifts to Mu Wanqing over and over again? The sky has no eyes. Tears were streaming down her face. Hearing this, Mu Wanqing just shook her head and said, "Selfishness has blinded you. Did you know that in this world, there are unparalleled powerful men that you have never seen before, watching the good and evil in this world? Celestial bodies and divine bodies are just the thoughts of those people. When you choose to do evil, you have lost everything." Her words made everyone's expressions tremble. The meaning of this woman's words is that there is an invincible strong man behind her. It's very possible that without a backstage, how could she have awakened her divine body? But, what kind of person is capable of arbitrarily obtaining celestial bodies and divine bodies? It's unimaginable. They start guessing. At this moment, Shang Guantongruo raised his eyes, looked at the sky and said, "Two clan elders, please capture this girl immediately. If the celestial body can be deprived, so can the divine body. Kill her and take out her heart's blood again. All of this can only belong to my daughter. She has gone completely crazy." Mu Qingkang also shouted, "Two clan elders, please take action quickly. We must not let this girl grow up." However, upon hearing this, Mu Hongbo and Mu Hongyun looked at each other in the sky. The wood spirit divine body really shocked them all. This is a physique that only exists in myths. We have made enemies, so we can only fight to the death. Mu Hongbo spoke in a deep voice and said solemnly, "Kill this woman and deprive her of her divine body, and the dynasty will be more glorious." Mu Hongyun also nodded, looked at Mu Wanqing, and said, "I know that you may still have some ancestral artifacts in your hands, but it doesn't matter. Your level is too low. The ancestral artifacts in your hands are just rubbish that the ancestors looked down upon and left in the village. You will be defeated. If you take out the divine blood yourself, I can still spare your life." Mu Rantian stepped forward and said angrily, "It's ridiculous. You are the elder of the clan, but you are so shameless." Mu Hongbo stood tall and said, "You are so shameless, then don't blame us, we will crush you ants to death." With that said, the two of them suddenly took action. The rusty iron axe in Mu Hongbo's hand suddenly struck. When the axe struck, some terrifying secret power instantly burst out. As if they did not belong to this world, the expressions of all the cultivators in the field changed drastically, and there was even some fear in their eyes. At the same time, the broken spear in Xuanhuan's hand also thrust forward. The same mysterious and terrifying aura emerged. What level of treasure is this? It's too scary. I'm afraid even those who are strong in the realm of the divine can't stop the aura emanating from it. The Muling dynasty has such a profound foundation. Everyone exclaimed. Where did this thing come from? It actually makes me feel terrified. Even Taoist Si Dong of Qingyang sect's expression changed at this moment. He has the highest level of cultivation, so he can feel it more. The broken spear and rusty iron axe seemed to contain a trembling aura. Wherever the iron axe passed, almost an entire void was split open. Where the spears are stabbed, there are even more stars, and the void is like fireworks exploding. Even cultivators in the realm of divine connection may not be able to withstand this kind of power. Murantian had already stepped forward and shouted. Dare you? In his hands there is an extra dusty and old rice bag. He held the rice bag in his palm and injected spiritual power into it. In an instant, the old and yellow rice bag was enlarged infinitely. An inexplicable force filled the world. The sky was dim, the sunlight in the entire capital was blocked by bags, and darkness suddenly came. This bag seems to be able to hold the sky. At this moment, the expressions of Xuanhuan and Hongbo changed drastically. What kind of bag is this? Hongbo lost his voice and spoke. He clearly felt that he had become extremely small, and the iron axe that had shown supreme power just now seemed to have turned into a child's toy in front of the rice bag. No. This ancestral weapon is stronger than ours. Hongyuan was already shouting, his face panicked. The rice bag opened and fell. Ah! The elders of the two major clans let out pitiful screams of reluctance. Like a big net falling down, the two tiny insects had nowhere to escape. They were sucked directly into the bag. The ancestral belongings in their hands were all gone. Murantian waved his hand, and the bag that covered the sky shrank instantly, became infinitely smaller, and fell into his hands. The sky is bright again, and the sun shines on the earth. The entire palace of the Muling dynasty was completely dead at this moment. Everyone stared blankly at the sky. Their expressions were astonishment, shock, fear, disbelief. What kind of bag is that? What kind of bag is that? Two powerful elders in the realm of God refining, holding powerful ancestral weapons, were actually vulnerable to a single blow and were taken away. Evil thing, this is evil thing, Mu Zhenfeng, is this how he died? Everyone shouted loudly. What kind of treasure is this? This kind of breath can be called a divine thing, it can be called a divine thing. Taoist Si Dong stared at the bag with shock in his eyes. I am afraid that even the Qingyang sect would find it difficult to come up with such an artifact. Does this thing come from the wilderness? In the wilderness, there are indeed many treasures. No. How could it be so? What kind of bag is that? Danger, danger. Shang Guantongruo's beauty turned pale at this moment, her face turned pale, she hurriedly grabbed Mu Qingkang and said. Your Majesty, please come to me, ancestor, please come to me. She was completely panicked and her voice was trembling. You must know that what was taken action just now was the background of the Muling dynasty. Two great god-level experts, holding ancestral weapons, were actually destroyed. This means that if the ancestor does not come out, the opponent will be invincible. Mu Qingkang looked at the bag in Murantian's hand and was a little dazed. He wanted to ask, it was also an ancestral item, why was that bag so awesome? Damn, this is too much. Did our ancestors who left the mountain village miss out on the good things? He just wanted to vomit blood. However, he reacted immediately and shouted hurriedly. Please help me, ancestor. Please help me, ancestor. He is calling the ancestor of the dynasty. At his call, the ground in the palace suddenly trembled. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 444. Now. Somewhere in an underground palace. An old man sits cross-legged here. His long hair is several meters long, and his beard falls directly to his chest. He is wearing an silkworm robe. He is skinny, but he has a lot of energy. A few days ago, Mu Qingkang personally sent a magic pill. After taking it for several days, it was finally completely refined today. Break! He shouted loudly. A huge amount of energy burst out of the body instantly. His dry body suddenly became bulging quickly, new flesh was regenerated, and his bones were transformed again. He has entered the realm of divine connection. Two rays of light burst out from the old man's eyes. Ha ha, ha 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 ha, I have become a god. His laughter, along with the powerful aura that just erupted, passed directly through the underground palace and shook the entire imperial city. Then, the old man took a step forward and turned into a rainbow, rising into the sky. Imperial City. Everyone felt the trembling of the earth, and they were extremely solemn. In the next moment, they saw several palaces being blown away, and a rainbow shot out of the sky. I saw an old man appearing in the sky. With his white hair like a waterfall, it can be seen that he has been practicing hard for countless years, and the aura exuding from his body at this moment makes everyone tremble. Psychic. He is a powerful person in the realm of divine connection. Ha ha ha, I, Mu Xianfeng, have finally attained the power of the gods. I will live another 3,000 years and live a glorious life. The old man was ecstatic and shouted. He is surprisingly one of the founders of the Muling dynasty, Mu Xianfeng. In the past, it was he and two other companions who left their ancestral village and founded the Wood Spirit dynasty. The two companions have died, but he has gone one step further. Greetings, ancestor. Congratulations to ancestor for your breakthrough. Greetings, ancestor. Congratulations to ancestor for your breakthrough. Greetings, ancestor. Congratulations to ancestor for your breakthrough. Below, everyone in the Muling dynasty immediately shouted with joy and knelt down one after another. The ancestor has made a breakthrough, great, the ancestor has become a god. Mu Qingkang was even more delighted and immediately saluted. Shangguan Tongruo, Mu Wangziu and others were also very excited. The stronger the ancestor is, the safer they are. On the sky, Mu Xianfeng smiled slightly and said. Everyone, please get up. No need to be polite. By the way, where are Hongbo and Hongyun? Why don't they come to see me? He asked. Before, at the critical moment of breakthrough, he did not perceive everything happening in the outside world. Just at the moment of breakthrough, I seemed to hear Mu Qingkang's voice calling for help. Hearing this, Mu Qingkang stood up, pointed at Mu Rantian, and said. Ancestor Qi, two clan elders have been killed by him. The bag in his hand is an ancestral artifact taken from the ancestral village. It is so terrifying that even iron axes and spears cannot stop it. Mu Xianfeng turned his head immediately, and first saw the arrogant old Teng. Taking root in the imperial city can tear an entire city apart. I didn't expect that a few grape seeds that I looked down on in the past could actually grow. He was a little surprised. Immediately afterwards, his eyes swept over the three people of Mu Rantian. He could see that Mu Rantian seemed to have just broken through the state of concentration, and the rice bag in Mu Rantian's hand. It's not simple, he can't see the origin. When I and others left in the past, they obviously took away most of the treasures in the ancestral village. I never found such a rice bag. He then looked at Muninshan, which was only in the Fusion Dao realm, not worth mentioning. His eyes fell on Mu Wanking, and his expression changed drastically. This aura. You, wood spirit celestial body? Or stronger? He lost his voice and seemed to be in disbelief. The people of the ancestral village actually awakened such a divine body? A divine body has appeared in the ancestral village, but why is it trying to become our enemy? He looked at Mu Wonking and asked. Mu Rantian said coldly. Mu Wonking, the genius of our village, had previously awakened to the wood spirit celestial body, but was viciously deprived of it by the wood spirit dynasty. Come today, we want an explanation. When Mu Xianfeng heard this, he felt extremely confused. What was going on? He immediately turned his head and looked at Mu Qingkang. Mu Qingkang nodded and said. Ancestor, this is all for the dynasty. Previously, Mu Wonking awakened the wood spirit celestial body, but was unwilling to tell us how to evolve the celestial body. For the sake of the dynasty, we had no choice but to deprive her of her bloodline and graft it to Wangziu. That's why we were able to get help from the Qingyang sect, and that's why we got the Tongshen pill. I just didn't expect that Mu Wonking would actually go one step further, awakening the wooden spirit body. He told the truth very frankly, because he believed that his ancestor would not blame himself. A dynasty is not supported by justice, but by naked interests. Sure enough, Mu Xianfeng in the sky thought for a moment, then nodded and said. You did a great job for doing this for the greater good. After saying that, he turned to look at Mu Wonking and said. I cherish my talent, let's do this. You make an oath to forget your old grudges, worship me as your master, and serve the dynasty from now on. I will keep you alive, how about it? Hearing this, Mu Wonking shook her head and said. I thought that the Mu Ling dynasty would have sensible people, but now it seems that I was worrying too much. Then let's fight. Mu Xianfeng shook his head and said. What a shame. After saying that, he waved his big hand suddenly. The endless strong wind swept towards the three people. Receive. Mu Rantian stepped forward, tried his best, and offered the rice bag again. The rice bag instantly enlarged, and the strong wind that could destroy everything was sucked into it. It's a good thing, but it's a pity that you are too weak. Mu Xianfeng sneered, and with a loud shout, a massive amount of spiritual power exploded. Fill that bag. Mu Rantian's face suddenly turned pale. This bag is undoubtedly a divine item, but it requires a lot of spiritual energy. He had just opened it once, and his spiritual energy was almost exhausted. It is extremely difficult to support again at this moment. I'm here to help you. Munichen also stepped forward and tried his best. However, the surge of spiritual power between the two of them was still difficult to sustain. The realm of divine communication is a watershed, and it is definitely not comparable to the realm of refining gods. Facing Mu Xianfeng is 100 times more difficult than killing Mu Zhenfeng. Finally, the two of them froze, their spiritual energy exhausted, and the bag suddenly fell. And here, even if there is a treasure, so what? Mu Xianfeng smiled slightly, stepped forward, and said. Bring it here. He went to arrest several people. At this moment, Mu Wonking finally stepped forward. Her expression was calm and resolute, and even when faced with a powerful person at the level of a god, she remained calm. Today, according to the decree of our predecessors, we will punish evil and promote good. She spoke, and a roll of rice paper appeared in her hand. Rice paper, slowly opened. A terrifying energy instantly emanated from the roll of rice paper. In an instant, the sky trembled. Everyone's expressions changed drastically, as if they were facing the supreme true God. At this moment, countless people fell to their knees with horrified expressions. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 445. Open the rice paper. A qi movement crossed Chen Tianyu. In an instant, the people of the Mu Ling dynasty, the imperial capital, and even the entire country were trembling. What is this? What a terrible chi machine! Is it the decree of the gods? No. It's too scary. Below the imperial city, almost all the powerful men could not help but kneel on the ground. Even strong men such as Mu Qingkang and Si Dongdaoren could not resist. This is an irresistible pressure. The only option is surrender and worship. What is this? Mu Qingkang asked in fear. And Taoist Si Dong said in shock. Incredible, this seems to be the decree of a god. Is there a god behind them? As soon as his words came out, everyone around him was stunned. Divine decree? Is there a god behind Mu Wanking and others? This is earth-shattering. You must know that in the huge Great Ruins realm, only a handful of people have been able to become gods throughout the ages. They are all recorded in myths and are worshipped by all the spirits in the Great Ruins realm. And the sects favored by God are all top powers. Such a force can easily destroy a dynasty. How could it be? Isn't the ancestral village in the god burial wasteland? How could they have the decree of the gods? Impossible. The god burial wasteland is a forbidden area where even gods cannot set foot. How can gods exist? It's over, no matter what, once the divine decree comes out, no one can defeat it. Everyone was terrified. And on the sky, Mu Xianfeng, the ancestor of the Wood Spirit dynasty, felt the terrifying energy at this moment, and his expression changed drastically. He hurriedly took out many things. There are broken armors, ancient bronze bells, etc. These are all ancestral artifacts that the ancestors of Muling village obtained from the depths of the wilderness many years ago and were later brought out of the wilderness. Ancestral weapon, help! He shouted, and all the ancestral weapons burst out. One or two of them even showed a great power. However, in Mu Wanking's hand, the scroll was fully opened at this moment. Those are 4 big characters. Punish evil and promote good. In an instant, the way of heaven roared and all the ways fell. These 4 words seemed to be commanding all the ways in the world. The air machine falls. The many rare ancestral weapons in Mu Xuanfeng's hands suddenly exploded. Bang bang bang. All explode. Mu Xianfeng let out a shrill cry and fell from the air. Bang. He hit the ground, sending smoke and dust everywhere. And the supreme energy that fills the sky is like a waterfall at this moment, covering it down, and no one can escape. Ah! No, my cultivation has been cut off. I became a useless person. Countless people in the Wood Spirit dynasty are wailing. In particular, those guardian elders and others who had always harbored evil intentions have lost their cultivation and been wiped out by the invisible avenue. Why? His eyes were full of reluctance, but under the destruction of the Great Road, he was like an ant, completely useless. It has nothing to do with us. Why do you want to implicate us? No. Spare your life. Taoist Si Dong's expression changed drastically. He didn't understand why he was implicated despite never taking action, and his cultivation was wiped out at this moment. Not just here. Throughout the imperial capital of the Muling dynasty, the streets, alleys, and even the barren mountains and mountains, wherever there were people, the people were crawling under this kind of energy. Anyone with harmful intentions will suffer this calamity. This is punishment for evil. But among the countless people in the palace, there was one person whose body was filled with the great avenue, whose body was nourished by qi, and whose cultivation was exploding. The wood is empty. His almost withered Tao body and lost cultivation were actually made up by heaven and earth at this moment. This is the blessing of the avenue. This is to promote kindness. In an instant, he was in a state where he had been abolished again. The realm of integrating the Tao, the realm of concentration, the realm of refining the gods. In the end, with the help of countless avenues, he was instantly blessed. There is a clear distinction between good and evil. As long as you stick to your own heart and don't be afraid of anything, good, can also communicate with God. He looked up to the sky and roared. Break into, the realm of divine connection. Everyone in the audience was dumbfounded. What's going on? The will of the gods, those who obey it will live, and those who go against it will die. Taoist Si Dong murmured, and at this moment he completely understood. This is definitely the decree of the gods. Only gods can do this, punish evil and promote good with a single thought. Good will be rewarded with good, and evil will be rewarded with evil. Only when the gods truly appear will this sentence truly come true. In the sky, Murantian, Muninchin and others were completely shocked when they saw this scene. They all knew that what Senior Li had given him was absolutely extraordinary. But I didn't expect it to be so terrifying. Affecting the avenues of heaven and earth, monitoring the good and evil of people's hearts. No one can escape. Moreover, as soon as the decree came out, even them were covered. Murantian went one step further and directly reached the state of concentration. He was only one step away from breaking through to the state of refining the spirit. Muninchin rushed to the 7th level of concentration. Mu Wonking herself, in the same way, entered the state of concentration and reached the 8th heaven. The good and evil in the human heart are not invisible, they are as clear as light in the dark. Under the decree of the law, I clearly see that some people's hearts are dark, so their bodies are confused and distorted by the laws, and some people want to be bright, so the heaven and earth are created with it. Friendly. The overwhelming shadow of grapes seemed to have evolved into an endless avenue at this moment. It harmonized with the principles of heaven and earth, and entered the realm of refining gods. At this moment, it made an old murmur. This Senior Li is truly a man of God. Mu Wonking looked at the rice paper in her hand, a hint of complexity flashed across her face. Senior Li. What kind of realm is he? At this moment, the situation has been decided. She took a deep breath and put away the rice paper. The energy between heaven and earth slowly dissipated at this moment. In the palace, everyone was still kneeling on the ground. Guests from all major powers, officials from the imperial dynasty, people from the Qingyang sect, etc. A large part of it was scrapped. Only some of them have not had their cultivation level cut off, and a very few, such as Mu Zhenkong, have experienced a terrifying increase in their cultivation level. Mu Wonking fell from the sky. Everyone's eyes fell on her, but they were full of awe and admiration. Messenger of the gods. No wonder she can survive even if her celestial body is taken away, she has the blessing of the gods. Everyone murmured. Our wood spirit dynasty is over, completely over. If I had known there was a god behind her, why would it be like this? Why would it be like this? Our Muling dynasty, in order to gain access to the god-serving sect, actually poisoned a person favored by the gods. It is really stupid and ridiculous, haha. We are seeking the far away at the expense of the near, and we are bringing about our own death. Everyone in the Muling dynasty felt extremely regretful at this moment. Spare your life, spare your life. Mu Xianfeng climbed up from the ground with difficulty. His old face was full of fear and he said, Miss Wonking, it has nothing to do with me. Everything was done by these unscrupulous descendants. Don't kill me, don't kill me. He was completely frightened. I, Mu Qingkang, wholeheartedly serve the dynasty, but unexpectedly, I have reached this point of no return. Mu Qingkang's face turned miserable, and tears fell from his eyes. He is finished, and the entire dynasty is finished. However, Mu Wonking was extremely indifferent. She walked towards Mu Wangzhou step by step. What are you going to do? Go away, go away. Mu Wangzhou was trembling, terrified. Thank you for teaching me something. Mu Wonking opened her mouth and said, Teach me how to deal with evil people. After speaking, she raised her hand. Mu Wangzio's chest split. Blood flowed. She let out a shrill scream, and then died. Wangziu. Shangguan Tongruo rushed over. Her originally beautiful and noble face was filled with tears. She felt extremely regretful and hugged Mu Wangzio's body. Mu Wangking, you bitch, you killed my daughter, you will not die a good death, you will be cut into pieces. Mu Wangking said. Do you know that it was you who killed your daughter? However, I still thank you for the curse. Then, raise your hand. Shangguan Tongruo's head is in a different place. Kill. Her heart is as firm as iron. Now, she has understood that only by punishing evil can good be promoted. If there is no punishment for evil people, then the dedication and simplicity of good people will only be used by bad people. This era punishes good people and rewards bad people. The honesty of most people can only fulfill the cunning of a small number of people. The risks of most people can only achieve the interests of a small number of people. The labor of most people can only make a small number of people prosperous. Only by first becoming a person who has a sword in his hand and dares to use it can he be able to talk about protecting kindness. This is also the truth she realized from Senior Li's 4-character decree. In the end, the Muling dynasty was destroyed. People from Qingyang sect and other major forces were expelled. Great, great. Mu Zhenkong was so excited that his tears were muddy. He looked at Mu Wangking and said, fortunately, everything has been saved, otherwise, I really deserve to die. He had been blaming himself in his heart, but only now did he feel relieved. Senior Mu, this matter has nothing to do with you. If you hadn't used your life essence to extend Wangking's life, Wangking would have died. You don't have to be ashamed. Mu Wangking spoke. Mu Zhenkong nodded and said, now that the dynasty has no owner, Miss Wangking, I think you should be the one to ascend the throne. His eyes were full of heat and he said. Only you can lead the entire dynasty. Mu Wangking was stunned when she heard this. She raised her eyes and looked at the dragon chair above, feeling a little confused. Next to him, Mu Rantian also nodded and said. Senior Li asked us to leave Muling village, obviously he wanted us to establish power in the eastern wasteland. Only in this way can we better serve his old man. And you are the destined person chosen by Senior Li Wangking, there is no need to refuse. Thinking of this, Mu Wangking was silent for a long time. My life and everything I have are all given by Senior Li. In this life, I want nothing more than to repay Senior Li for his kindness, I am willing to ascend the throne. Mu Zhenkong was immediately overjoyed. On that day, he summoned the clansmen in the dynasty whose cultivation had not been abolished to meet with Mu Wangking. At the same time, the people from Muling village finally arrived. The Muling dynasty, the queen ascends the throne. Everything that happened in the Muling dynasty spread throughout the eastern wasteland. In an instant, the whole world attracted attention. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 446. The Muling dynasty, the queen ascends the throne. A huge earthquake occurred in the eastern wasteland. What? The Wood Spirit dynasty was destroyed. A divine body appeared. In the Bauhinia dynasty, the emperor was shocked and said incredulously. Moreover, she is also a favored one? It's unbelievable. From today on, I'm afraid there will be one more of the 4 great god server forces in the eastern wasteland. He knew very well what it meant to be a favored person. This Mu Wangking should be acting on behalf of the will of the gods. In the Yanggui dynasty, Yang Dingtian was shocked for a long time after hearing the news. The Wood Spirit dynasty was destroyed, and the Wood Spirit divine body appeared. Terrible. Which god is behind her? Is it the true god Xuanhuan? He was thinking. Since there is a god behind Mu Wangking, it cannot be the god Lu Yang, because the Muling dynasty is the incest place of god Lu Yang. There are only a handful of gods that have been produced in the Great Ruins realm throughout the ages, and each of them has its own merits. In the eastern wasteland, there are countless forces, but there are only two gods worshipped: the Green Yang god and the Xuanhuan god. The Yanggui dynasty, as well as the Xianshui sect and the Tianjian sect among the four major sects worshipping the gods, worship the Xuanhuan high god. The Muling dynasty, as well as the Qingyang sect and the Xinyao sect, worship the Green Sun god. Incense is of great use to gods, so every god attaches great importance to incense. In the Yanggui dynasty, because the ancestor broke through to the realm of the gods, he was already qualified to become a sect serving the gods. The only thing left is to please the gods and gain their favor. For this reason, they had made two preparations before, one of which was to capture more incense lands for the gods. Secondly, during the god-worshipping festival, they asked Elder Tianxian to capture the Yinling Pegasus from the underworld and offer it to the gods. After all, Pegasus are extinct mythical creatures in the world of the sun. They are so extraordinary. Even if they capture just a yin spirit, it will definitely shock the world. Now, Mu Wanqing has destroyed the Muling dynasty, but has kept him in the dark. A god asked Mu Wanqing to take action and destroy the Muling dynasty. Could it be the god Xuanhuan? If Master Xuanhuan chooses Mu Wanqing, then their Yanggui dynasty will have no chance. I want to go to Xianshui sect personally and ask if this is the will of Lord Xuanhuan. He couldn't help it anymore and stood up immediately. Shortly after, he finally arrived at Xianshui sect. Mo Xian, the leader of Xianshui sect, personally worshipped the gods and obtained the oracle. However, after interpreting the oracle, Xianshui sect was shocked. Sir Xuanhuan, no one has been chosen by the gods. The person behind Mu Wanqing is not High God Xuanhuan. After hearing the news, Yang Dingtian became even more confused. Could it be other gods? But the places where the gods Yunyang and Zanbei are popular are both in Zhongzhou. Yunyang Shangshen and Zanbei Shangshen are the other two gods of the Great Ruins realm. They come from the Zhongzhou spiritual family, the Yun family, and the Zhan family respectively. Liuyang, Xuanhuan, Yunyang, and Zanbei, these are the four gods that the Great Ruins realm clearly knows still exist and will manifest. Some ancient gods have disappeared with the passage of time and no longer manifested. Most of them have died, so no one worships them anymore. It shouldn't be. I'm going to Qingyang sect. Mo Xian, the leader of Xianshui sect, spoke directly. He had a feeling that this matter was not simple. There may be other gods coming to the East Wasteland to grab territory and popular land. This is a big event and may trigger a war between gods. Soon, he flew to the Qingyang sect's mountain gate. Qingyang sect, the sect leader Gu Changfeng's face is extremely ugly. Who dares to take action against my son? He was very angry. Gu Fenjiun is his only son. In order to get the wood spirit celestial body, he asked his son to go, but the result was this. He had tried various methods but could not restore his son's cultivation. It was completely wiped out. Sect Master, at this time, maybe you can use the Dharma body of Lord Liu Yang to make Master Daiji repeat. An elder suggested. Go to the temple. Gu Changfeng spoke directly. If the gods took action, perhaps his son would have a chance to regain his life. Soon, they entered the main hall, where a majestic statue of a god stood high above it. All the sects, dynasties, and other incense under the Qingyang sect will gather here. This statue is also one of the strongest Dharma bodies of Lord Liu Yang in the Great Ruins realm. Please bow down to the gods and save the believers. He opened his mouth and started the ritual of inviting gods. Green light emitted from the statue of the god in the main hall. The spirit manifests. Like a shadow of a supreme god, it appeared in this hall, looking down on all living beings from a high position. The phantom of the god raised his hand, and suddenly the light was like a river, along with the rules of the avenue, pouring into Gu Fenjiun's body. It's great that the gods have taken action. In this way, the young master will definitely be able to recover. It doesn't matter, there is no injury in this world that the gods cannot heal. Everyone spoke one after another. Gu Changfeng was also looking forward to it excitedly. However, as the divine power was poured into him, a wisp of white mist suddenly appeared on Gu Fenjian's body. As soon as the white mist came out, the phantom of the god suddenly shook. No. What the hell is this? The phantom of the spirit was actually a little panicked at this moment, and then with a big palm strike, it killed Gu Fenjian and Taoist Si Dong directly. Father! Gu Fenjian only had time to scream and was already dead. Everyone in the venue was shocked when they saw this scene. What's going on? Instead of helping, the gods killed Gu Fenjian and others. God, why is this? Gu Changfen knelt directly on the ground, tears streaming down his face, and said, "My son is extremely devout to the gods, and my clan is even more dedicated." He didn't know why the gods wanted to kill his son. However, the green phantom of the god spoke coldly. "I killed your son for your own good." He was marked by a powerful ghost. What do you think the white mist is? It's ghost breath. This ghost is so domineering. It is obviously an old ghost who has successfully cultivated. The true form of the god is not here. If he takes action rashly and is deduced by this old ghost, it will be very bad. Hearing this, everyone was stunned. Ghost. Old ghost? The person behind Mu Wonking and others is not a god, but a ghost? They were stunned. There is also a saying that there are ghosts in the earthly world. Especially some powerful creatures, if they have too much resentment after death, they will turn into ghosts and become extremely powerful. Even in the endless universe, it is said that there are terrifying ghosts. Such things as ghosts, no one is afraid of them. Gu Changfeng suddenly felt that things were getting serious, and he couldn't even care about his son's death, so he hurriedly said, "God, what should we do?" Lord Liu Yang thought for a long time and said, "Only when the true form of this god comes, can it be possible to kill this old ghost. You all have to wait until the god-worshipping festival, and it's best to set up a ghost-slaying formation at that time to attract the old ghost, so you can get twice the result with half the effort." God Liu Yang raised his hand and passed on the method of the ghost-killing formation to Gu Changfeng. Gu Changfeng felt that there were still countless questions in his mind, but the Dharma body of the Green Sun God had dissipated. In the main hall, many powerful men from the Qingyang sect looked at each other in shock. Report. The leader of Xianshui sect and others are here. At this time, a loud shout came from outside. Please. Mo Xian spoke. Xianshui sect leader Mo Xian and others have already arrived. During the Muling dynasty, it had nothing to do with the high god Xuanhuan, and the high god did not take action. Mo Xian got straight to the point and said, "It's possible that other gods came to the eastern wasteland to grab territory." As soon as he said this, Gu Changfeng smiled bitterly and said, "It's not gods, but ghosts. There are ghosts." He told the story about what he had just asked God to heal. Suddenly, Mo Xian and others were even more shocked. Is there such a powerful ghost in the Great Ruins realm? It can actually make God Green Sun's Dharma body powerless. Terrible. At this time, Yang Dingtian suddenly thought of something and said, "Mu Wonking and others come from the wilderness, the ghosts behind them should also be in the wilderness." When he said this, everyone was stunned. The god burial wasteland is full of weirdness, there are ghosts in it, it's really normal. Gu Changfeng's face was shocked, this is very possible. Everyone vaguely came to a consensus. Behind Mu Wonking and others, they should be ghosts in the wilderness. After all, in the endless years, gods have set foot in the wilderness and fallen into it. According to the instructions of God Liu Yang, we have to carry it until the god worship festival, and we must set up a ghost-slaying formation in advance. Mo Xian, the leader of Xianshui sect, felt his scalp numb and said, "It's easy to set up a ghost-killing array, but since the old ghost is far away in the wilderness, how can he come out? You must know that these ghosts are extremely cunning." Everyone was also at a loss. But Yang Dingtian continued to speak and said, Maybe there is a way." Everyone's eyes fell on his face. Our Yang dynasty once captured a Pegasus yin spirit. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Pegasus? This kind of creature has long been extinct in the universe. It became extinct in ancient mythology. According to some ancient records, unless some strange underworld appears, it will be possible to reappear. Did the Yang dynasty discover a place in the underworld? Is this the reason why their dynasty ancestors broke through to the realm of gods? Everyone started talking. Mo Xian, the leader of Xianshui sect, his eyes darkened. The Yang dynasty has always been a vassal of their Xianshui sect, but they discovered this underworld and didn't tell them? Yang Dingtian, however, bit the bullet and continued. Pegasus, even if you look at the universe and even the divine realm, it is an extinct mythical creature. The ghosts of these creatures have an unparalleled attraction to ghosts. As long as the old ghost in the wilderness knows that the Yinling Pegasus is about to appear during the God Worship Festival, I believe it will definitely come. No matter, it doesn't matter if the world knows that they have discovered the underworld. As long as they can help the gods kill the old ghost in the wilderness this time, the gods will definitely favor their Yang dynasty. Who will you be afraid of then? That makes sense. Gu Changfen nodded in approval and said. So now, should we let the world know about Pegasus? And also send a letter to the Queen of the Wood Spirit Dynasty, inviting her to come to the God Worship Festival. Of course, it's best, with a hint of the Yin Spirit's Yin energy. And at this moment, the Muling Dynasty. The world has been settled, and Queen Mu Wanqing has successfully ascended the throne. The main thing is that the decree of that day extended to the entire world, punished evil and promoted good, and made the world completely surrender. Your Majesty, now that the world has been decided, it's time for us to create statues for the gods behind you. In the main hall, Mu Zhenkong spoke. Even he guessed that there must be a god behind Muling village. Hearing this, Mu Wanqing was also thinking, and said, this matter involves Senior Li, and we must obtain Senior's consent. Mu Rantian also nodded. Report. Envoys from the Yang dynasty are here to send congratulatory gifts. The voice of notification came suddenly. In the main hall, everyone frowned. When Mu Wanqing ascended the throne, no powerful sect in the world came to congratulate him. How could the Yang dynasty be so kind? And only now? Please. Mu Wanqing spoke. Not long after, a middle-aged man walked into the hall with a smile. I, Emperor Yang of Xia, come to Yangxiao to send a congratulatory gift to the queen in the name of my emperor. As he spoke, he took out a jade box. Mu Rantian took the jade box and inspected it. After confirming that there was no danger, he stepped forward and handed it to Mu Wanqing. Mu Wanqing opened it and saw a wisp of light silver mist in the jade box. This is a ray of Yin. This Yin energy is taken from the Yin spirit of Tianma. During the God-respecting festival, our dynasty will dedicate this thing to the gods. During the God-respecting festival, all the forces will also get a share of the pie. Yang Xiao smiled slightly. Mu Wanqing thought for a while and said, I understand. The envoy can rest in the city. Yang Xiao bowed and retreated. There is a conspiracy. Mu Zhenkong spoke directly and said, this is the Hungmen banquet of the Yang dynasty. Mu Rantian also nodded and said, you must be on guard. However, Mu Wanqing was very indifferent and said, no matter so much, go see Senior Li first. No matter the conspiracies, no matter the monsters, as long as she thinks of Senior Li, she feels extremely peaceful. And at this moment, somewhere on the border of the eastern wasteland, there is a border town. A gust of dark wind suddenly blew, and the people in the town suddenly panicked. Ghosts cry in the cold wind. Ghost, there is a ghost. Help! Cries for help continued throughout the town. After a long time, the gloomy wind blew away, and a patch of mountains and fields appeared. The Yinfeng transformed into a man. It was as if he had starved to death, with only skin and bones left, and his eye sockets were sunken, which was extremely terrifying. I asked you to go inquiring about the news and start eating again? You really deserve to be starved to death. A gust of cold wind came from the side, and it turned into a human form, dressed in pale clothes, with a long scarlet tongue in its mouth, which was half a meter long. This is a hanged ghost. It's boring. There are only 2 or 3 cultivators in the small town, and there's not enough food. The starving ghost spoke. How's it going? Have you heard any news about the ghost lord? The hanged man then asked. I haven't heard anything about the ghost lord, but there seems to be a yin spirit in this area. The hungry ghost said, Pegasus, it must be delicious. Hearing this, the hanged ghost was immediately shocked and said, Pegasus? There are such evil spirits? What a good thing. This matter must be reported to the commander. The 2 ghosts immediately disappeared from the place. Not long after, they appeared among mass graves. The place is dotted with graves. And at a glance, these tombs actually coincide with a certain formation, as if there is a secret ghost breath circulating, and white mist and black mist mix. And in the center of many tombs is a big tomb. The grave was poured with blood. Commander Chi, we have received news that there is a Pegasus yin spirit in the eastern wasteland. As soon as these words came out, the bloody tomb suddenly split open. The fog was rising, and a ghost walked out. This is an indifferent old man, with a deathly gray face and extremely sinister eyes. Pegasus. Yin spirit. The old ghost's hoarse voice came out and said. Pegasus only exists in myths and legends. All heavens and realms in the universe do not exist. How can its ghost appear in this small star realm? It seemed a little confused. But it's also possible, in the past, the ghost master finally escaped from the hands of the star-destroying lord, but he didn't return to the ghost world. Over the years, we have searched many places before we found this place. I still doubt that the Great Ruins realm is just a how can a small star realm dampen the interest of the Ghost Lord. Now it seems that it may explain why Lord Ghost Lord is here. The old ghost raised his eyes, a black light flashed in his eyes, and said, I must get this Pegasus. When the time comes to find the Lord Ghost, this will be a good tonic for him. Is this chapter long? Say it loudly, will returning home last long? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 447. The God Burial Wilderness is full of ups and downs. For the entire Great Ruins realm, the God Burial Wasteland is a forbidden land. In fact, the wild in the eastern barren region originally refers to this vast wilderness where gods were once buried. Now, deep in the wilderness, in a canyon, a girl in a white dress was coming quickly. Beside her, there were several magical butterflies flying around. My communication crystal, I remember it was buried in this canyon. This girl is Yun 11. 3 years ago, in order to escape the marriage arranged by her family, she ran away with the secret support of her grandfather Yun Jianshan. Later, he even hid in the God Burial Wasteland. Before inexplicably entering the underworld, she placed the communication crystal she carried here. Now 3 years have passed. He, I hope Grandpa won't be shocked when he receives the news from me, right? He must be very happy. Yun 11 thought as he walked along the stream in the canyon. The stream occasionally splashed with water, and it was bitingly cold. Even the cultivators felt a little cold. This stream flows out from under a cliff in front. At the outlet of the stream, there was a cave. She walked to the cave and reached out to move a stone away, revealing a crystal. It was the crystal she buried back then. Great, I found it. She reached for the crystal. But, at this moment, in the cave where the stream flows out, a biting and cold wind suddenly swept through. Layers of ghostly mist filled the air, almost covering her. At this moment, Yongzi seemed to hear the whisper of an evil ghost. Ah, ghost. Yongzi's beauty is pale. But, at this moment, the butterfly beside her spread its wings and danced. Its wings were filled with light, protecting her, and the ghost mist could not corrode her at all. Okay, the devil's butterflies really work. She patted her towering chest and breathed a sigh of relief. She looked at the ghost mist and said angrily, "Where did this ghost come from? How dare you scare me? I have a backer." She was still afraid of ghosts. However, when she thought of the big devil, she felt emboldened. The existence in the ghost mist seems to be unwilling, but it cannot corrode Yongzi. I will give you a secret technique, do you want it? A secret technique that will allow you to become a god. Suddenly a magnetic voice sounded in the ghostly mist. Yun 11 blinked his big eyes and said, "Really?" The being in the ghostly mist said, "Of course, but I want you to do something for me. Help me take this thing out. As long as you take it out of this wilderness, you can get the secret." In the ghost mist, a pale and dark ghost hand actually stretched out. In that ghost's hand, there was a tooth. It looks extremely crystal clear, as if it is made of jade. Is this the legendary ghost fang? Yongzi was surprised. "Help me get out, I really can't hold it anymore, please." At this moment, the ghost mist became a little thinner. Then, the ghost hand disappeared, and the ghost disappeared instantly. There is only one ghost fang left in place. Yongzi looked at the cave and thought for a while. She understood. The ghost is sealed in this cave? He can't get out, so you want me to pass on the ghost teeth to him? She rolled her big eyes and said, "Humph, you damn thing, it's impossible to deceive me. I'm going to find the big devil and ask him to accept you." After saying that, she grabbed the ghost tooth and left here immediately. Leaving the canyon, she picked up the communication crystal. She was a little nervous, but she still sent out a message. "Grandpa, I'm back." Then he put away the crystal and flew all the way. After a long time, she left the depths of the wilderness and arrived in front of the small mountain village. She walked into the small mountain village. Wu Xianting finally appeared in front of her. She knocked on the door and said, "Li Fan, I'm back." In the small courtyard, Li Fan's voice came, "Come in." Yun 11 pushed open the door and entered. Everything in the small courtyard was as usual. Did the great demon king teach Nanfan and the others something new again? She was a little curious and felt the changes in Nanfan, Xiling, and others. Nanfan, Xiling, and others have almost reached the state of concentration. I have only been away for a few days. They are progressing so fast. Thinking of this, she felt a little aggrieved. Wow, the life of a life slave is so miserable. The big devil doesn't care enough about herself. Li Fan, on the other hand, had nothing to do. He was drinking tea and playing with the cat. At this moment, he looked at Yun 11 and said with a smile, "Have you eaten?" Yongzi rode. "No." Li Fan was stunned. Why does this little girl feel a little angry? "Gong Ya, go to the kitchen and get some snacks." Li Fan spoke. Yun 11 shook his head and said, "I won't eat it." Li Fan thought for a moment and said, I did it. Yun 11's big eyes lit up imperceptibly, and said, okay then, I want something sweet. Li Fan. Gongya immediately came out with the cakes. She said they were cakes, but in fact they were bread baked by Li Fan in his spare time. Because Gongya said a few days ago that she was very interested in the Baizai in the book, Li Fan taught her and left some after making it. The roast was very good, crispy, and soft. Yongzi was eating the bread and drinking the soy milk. He was so happy that he forgot all the worries he had just had. Delicious. She praised, finished eating, wiped her hands, and said, I was in a canyon, encountered danger, and was almost captured by a ghost. As she spoke, she took out the ghost tooth and said, Big Demon King, look, this is Ghost Fang. Li Fan glanced at the teeth and said in confusion, what did you call me? Yun 11 suddenly became a little nervous. It was over. He was so happy that he actually spilled the beans. She hurriedly said, I didn't mean it. Li Fan is a little unpredictable. Are all these little girls so nervous? The brain circuit is very strange. Love giving people nicknames. The key point is, how can I be nicknamed the Big Devil? Not worthy of my own handsomeness. However, he didn't think much about it and said, well, call it whatever you want. As he spoke, he picked up the tooth. Ghost Fang? Is there really such a thing? He was a little surprised. He once learned the ghost drawing talisman under the torture of the system. In the books about ghost drawing talismans, ghost teeth are described. It is said that only a strong ghost can grow them. This kind of ghost is usually very scary. However, Li Fan just listened to it and believed it, and didn't care much. After all, in this world where cultivators are respected, Li Fan felt that even a ghost would be miserable, right? What can't people do as immortal cultivators? How about ghosts? Moreover, when he accepted Lin Jujian as his disciple, he had dealt with ghosts before, so he was no longer unfamiliar with ghosts. It feels normal. Master, this thing is a good thing. Lin Jujian also came up. He also knew Gia very well, and his eyes were bright. Ghost teeth are an extremely rare resource. Li Fan smiled and said, well, if you wear it as a jade pendant, it will be quite cool in the summer. It is a good item to escape the heat. That seems to be what is recorded in the book. After Lin Jujian heard this, his expression suddenly became complicated. As a jade pendant? To escape the heat? This is a ghost tooth? However, he said nothing. He understood deeply that no matter how precious things were, in the eyes of Master, they were exactly the same as daily necessities. Masters like Master evaluated treasures based on the same standards as daily necessities. When Yongzi saw the great demon king praising the ghost Fang, he suddenly felt happy and said, Big Devil, I know where that ghost is. We can go and pull out all its teeth. Li Fan listened, but felt a little strange. Isn't this a bit of a bully? At this moment, there was a knock on the door outside the courtyard. Wanking comes to meet Senior Li. Mu Wanking's voice came. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Gui Xin. Chapter 448. Hearing Mu Wanking's voice outside, Li Fan said, come in. Mu Wanking and others immediately pushed the door open and entered. Seeing them, Li Fan's eyes flashed with confusion. Didn't they let them flee? Why are you back? Did something bad happen again? Greetings, Senior. Mu Wanking and others saluted respectfully. No need to be polite. Li Fan waved his hand and asked, how are you doing? Mu Wanking said, Senior Chi, we have left the great wilderness muling village according to your instructions, and now, we have initially established a foothold in the eastern wilderness. Thanks to the calligraphy given by Senior Li, Everyone in the world admires it. Mu Wanqing was very grateful. Li Fan was a little surprised when he heard this. How could a piece of calligraphy of my own be so powerful in this world? Let everyone in the world worship you. He suddenly burst into confidence. Damn it, although this broken system doesn't allow you to become an immortal, the skills it allows you to practice, are pretty good. In this great ruin world, he is also very strong. Well, if you are interested, you might as well take this as an opportunity to do more business and development. Li Fan encouraged. After all, Huo Ling Mu Jianing and others once started a calligraphy and painting business with their own funding. This was a good path. Muling village is so poor. Without the countryside, there is no land to cultivate. If you can't find a job outside, then it won't be a problem to eat. Now that he has this opportunity, Li Fan also wants to help people to the end and let them find a living. Upon hearing this, Mu Wanqing's beautiful eyes lit up. What does Senior Li mean by letting himself and others continue to expand and develop? Yes, that must be the case. After all, although the Muling dynasty can be considered a medium-sized force in the eastern wasteland, to a god-level figure like Senior Li, it is nothing. Being a chess piece, is not enough. She felt her blood boiling and said immediately. By the way, Senior, what do you think about creating statues of gods? Murantian and others are also looking forward to it. You must know that all major powers worship statues of gods. Because that means divine protection. As for their Muling dynasty, as long as they can enshrine the statue of Senior Li, they are better than other dynasties. They are directly equivalent to the serving god sect. Li Fan was stunned for a moment when he heard this. Shape a statue of a god. He immediately shook his head. This little girl is quite superstitious. This business has just started, and you are thinking about making a statue of the god of wealth or something like that? This is not impossible. Many business people will worship Guan Yi, the god of wealth, etc. in order to seek wealth and peace. But Li Fan feels that Mu Wanqing has a mental problem. Relying too much on such illusory things shows that she is not confident. Doing business does not rely on the blessing of gods. The gods are nothing but nothingness. There is no need to give up this kind of mentality. It is the last word to manage and develop well. Li Fan spoke directly. Hearing this, Mu Wanqing and others were startled. Senior Li is not allowed to create a statue of a god. The gods are nothing but nothingness. Murantian murmured, and suddenly his expression was shocked, and he turned pale with shock. In the eyes of Senior Li, gods are nothing. Doesn't this mean that Senior Li might beyond the gods? Mu Nanshan was also in a daze. Incense is very important to the gods, but Senior Li can actually ignore it. What kind of existence is he? Mu Wanqing was also chewing on the meaning of Li Fan's words, but her heart was filled with ups and downs. You don't need worship from the world, you are enough to ignore the gods. This is the true style of a master. Outstanding. I propose to build a statue of the god, but instead, offended the old man. She couldn't help but apologize hastily and said. Senior, Wanqing knows that she was wrong. Li Fan smiled and said. It's nothing. You're still young. You can just have more experience in the future. It is normal and understandable for young people to have some opportunistic thoughts. Mu Wanqing nodded and said. By the way, Senior, in a few days it will be the God Worship Festival in the Great Ruins realm. At that time, people from all major forces will go to worship the gods. Someone sent this thing and invited us to go. Wanqing is worried that it is the Hungmen banquet. I am afraid that he wants to target you. As she spoke, she took out the jade box and handed it to Li Fan respectfully. When Li Fan heard this, he sighed first. Sure enough, where there are people, there are rivers and lakes. Business is never easy. Has your calligraphy been targeted just as soon as it was published? Well, this calligraphy and painting dealer in Donghuang will definitely be suppressed when facing new competitors such as Mu Wanking. Most likely, on the so-called God Worship Festival, there will be another competition between you and me. And Li Fan has seen this kind of competition a lot, and it's all the artwork that speaks for itself. As he spoke, he opened the jade box. One of the mist drifted away instantly. In an instant, the branches of the peach tree drooped lightly, and the native chicken raised his eyes and seemed to glance at the empty box in Li Fan's hand. But Li Fan was stunned. An empty box? However, he reacted immediately and sneered, "Damn, these people are so insulting." Li Fan has read the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. In the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Zhuliang once gave women's clothes to Sima Yi. His original intention was to mock Sima Yi for being a woman. And now, those people sent an empty jade box over. Why? This is also the irony of Chi Kuakyo. What the other party meant was that Li Fan was just like this precious empty jade box, with nothing but appearance, no knowledge and no skills, and an empty belly. Provocation, this is simply provocation. It is tolerable, but what is unbearable? Huh? Master, is this box related to rare animals? At this time, Wu Dade spoke hurriedly. He took out the crystal piece and it was already glowing. Li Fan was also surprised. Could it be that the person who sent this box to provoke raised rare animals? His heart suddenly moved. What a good thing. I'm worried that I can't find any traces of rare animals and plants. Now, he has collected 5 rare animals, the little golden cow, the little unicorn, the little wolf, the turtle and the little red bird, as well as 3 rare plants, the sacred blood grass, the unicorn tree, and the immortal tree. Getting closer to the goal. However, this rare animal is most likely in the hands of those calligraphy and painting dealers. He pondered. Master, let me go. At this time, Zi Ling stood up, with a hint of expectation in her big eyes. The moment Li Fan opened the jade box, she actually felt a wisp of yin energy emanating from it, which made her feel inexplicably familiar. She felt, she should go. Li Fan thought about it for a moment. It doesn't matter if Xiling goes, her paintings have reached a certain level, enough to make a name for herself outside. Moreover, the other party dared to use the empty jade box to ridicule him, just hoping that he would take action. If he gets furious because of this and goes there in person, he will fall into the opponent's plan. Okay, then it's up to you to go to the study and pick out some more calligraphy and painting to take with you. Li Fan spoke. Hearing this, Zi Ling showed her little fangs and smiled sweetly. Master is so kind. Okay, master. After saying that, she went to the study and picked up a picture of the rising sun in spring that Li Fan had painted. Master, I'm leaving. After grabbing her things, she said goodbye with Mu Wanking and others. Mu Wanking and others were surprised when they saw that Li Fan actually sent a disciple. It's safe, Senior Li's disciples take action, no matter what the conspiracy is, there's no need to be afraid. Zi Ling, can you help me get some news? At this time, Yongzi came close to Xiling. Zi Ling said, Sister Yongzi, what's the news? Yun 11 said, please help me find out whether Zhan Shaoling, the descendant of the Zhongzhou Zhan family, is married. She thought about it, but she still felt a little uneasy. The man named Zhan Shaoling was the man the family wanted her to marry in the past. If Zhan Shaoling gets married, then she is going to muster up the courage to go home, otherwise, she doesn't want to leave the vicinity of the big devil. Anyway, she felt that the Zhan family probably couldn't afford to offend the big devil. Okay, sister, don't worry, I will find out for you. Zi Ling said with a smile. Thank you Zi Ling, I brought this to you. Yongzi gave her ghost tooth to Xiling as a thank you. Zi Ling said, Sister, There is no need. It's okay. We'll go look for that ghost when you come back. He must have more teeth. Yun 11 smiled sweetly. Zi Ling immediately accepted it and left with Mu Wanking and others. They walked all the way out of the wilderness, and soon after, finally arrived at the Muling dynasty. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 449. On the way to the Muling dynasty, Mu Wanking asked. Sister Xiling, how should we call Senior Li? To the outside world, calling him by his last name, may be disrespectful. Now Senior Li is undoubtedly the god of the Wood Spirit dynasty. However, they don't know his title. Zi Ling thought for a while and said. Well, someone once called Master the Lord of Desolate Heaven. You can do it too. As she said that, she thought of Huo Ling Mu Jianing, and the others. Sister Ling and Sister Jianning also entered the underworld, but I don't know where they went. One day when they hear these 4 words, they should know that the Master is here. Continuing to use Master's previous name can also provide a pointer to the deceased. When Mu Wanking heard this, she was immediately overjoyed. The Lord of Desolate Heaven, this is the supreme existence we truly respect. Mu Rantian and Muninchan also murmured. Finally, they arrived at the Muling dynasty. Mu Zhenkong led his ministers to welcome him. Welcome the Queen. Welcome the Queen. All the officials were extremely respectful. Mu Wanking and Zi Ling walked into the main hall together and said, Ping Shen. All officials stood up immediately. This girl is. Mu Zhenkong looked at Zi Ling doubtfully. Mu Wanking introduced, this is Miss Xiling, she is the disciple of the Lord of the Wild Sky. The Lord of Desolate Heaven is the one who gives us everything. Hearing this, all the officials were shocked. The Lord of Desolate Heaven, I have never heard of this title, but he must not be weaker than the gods. A mysterious and powerful existence. Everyone whispered with respect. The Lord of Desolate Heaven. Mu Zhenkong also said, Miss Xiling, Your Majesty, can we create a statue for the Lord of the Wild Sky? Everyone is concerned. But Mu Wanking shook her head and said. From today on, there will be no statues of gods in the Muling dynasty. The Lord of Desolate Heaven said, the gods are nothing but nothingness. The whole court was shocked. Gods, just nothingness. How courageous is this? According to the order. Mu Zhenkong nodded. Are there any big events in the DPRK recently? Mu Wanking asked. 3 days after the God Worship Festival, it will be held in the Eastern Wasteland 3 Divine States. In addition, there is recent news that ghosts seem to have appeared in the Eastern Wasteland. They have appeared in many small towns and preyed on many cultivators, but there has been no ghost disaster yet. Mu Zhenkong reported. Ghost. Mu Wanking was thoughtful, but didn't think much and said. In 3 days, Miss Xiling and I will set off for Sanshenzhou. 3 days flew by. In the past 3 days, the news that the Muling dynasty had abolished all the statues of gods and would not erect new ones spread throughout the eastern wasteland again. All major forces are paying close attention. The Sanshenzhou, Xianshui sect, Qingyang sect, and other Shishan sects, as well as the Yanggui dynasty, have all arrived. They are stepping up their efforts to arrange the ghost-slaying formation directed by God Liu Yang. Haha, it seems true, only ghosts don't need incense. Mo Xian, the leader of the Xianshui sect, spoke with certainty. The situation of the Muling dynasty once again confirmed the words of the Green Sun God. Moreover, reports of ghosts have been received from various places in Donghuang recently. It seems that the old ghost in the God Burial Wilderness can't wait to come out. Gu Changfeng, the head of Qingyang sect, thought about it and said. Speed up the progress, this time, the gods will appear, and this ghost will die. Finally, the festival of worship has arrived. Today, Sanshenzhou is extremely lively. In the capital of Sanshenzhou, a huge altar has been built. On the altar, two statues of different gods stood majestically. The Green Yang god and the Xuanhuan god. All major forces have arrived. At this moment, Mu Wanqing and Zi Ling finally arrived outside the city. It's here, the light of the crystal piece is getting stronger and stronger. Zi Ling blinked and looked at the crystal piece. The queen of Mu Ling dynasty, Mu Wanqing, has arrived. At the city gate, someone was already there to greet him. Your Majesty, Qingyang sect elder Wang Feng, is here to greet the queen of the Mu Ling dynasty. The person coming is the elder of Qingyang sect. Every god-worshipping festival is jointly organized by the four major god-serving sects. Please come with me. Wang Feng smiled slightly and immediately took Mu Wanqing and Xiling into the city. And they had just entered the city not long ago. A gust of wind blew past the city gate. The soldiers guarding the city were confused for a moment, but didn't notice anything. On the street in the city, an old man dressed in grey has appeared. His grey skin and cold and evil eyes are so eerie. No one around could see him. Because, he is a ghost. Haha, Pegasus. I want to see if it's true or not. The old ghost wandered all the way and soon reached the edge of the altar. As soon as he arrived here, his dead eyes suddenly moved. His eyes suddenly focused on a girl in purple in front of him. No, why does she have a familiar aura? It's inexplicably familiar, but she also has an unfathomable power in her. There was a solemn look in the old ghost's eyes. That familiar breath flashed past, as if it was suppressed by other, more incredible breaths, making it impossible for him to distinguish. No. There must be something on her. The old ghost stared at the girl in purple, then suddenly turned his head and looked at an elder who was leading the way next to the girl in purple. Wang Feng. You are the one. The old ghost drifted away. At this moment, Elder Wang Feng was smiling and saying, Miss Wanqing, a place has been reserved for you on the altar, please. He stretched out his hand to lead the way. However, the next moment, he suddenly felt a chill on his back. His mouth froze for a moment, and then his whole aura suddenly changed slightly. The hypocritical and enthusiastic smile on his face instantly became a little indifferent and stiff. Mu Wanqing didn't notice it and stepped onto the altar of sacrifice calmly. But Zi Ling suddenly glanced at him. Something weird. She muttered, but didn't think much of it. Follow forward. The altar for worshipping the gods is a large round altar. In the center of the round altar stand the statues of the Green Yang god and the Xuanhuan god. There are seats all around. The queen of Mu Ling dynasty, Mu Wanqing, has arrived. Walking up to the altar, a loud shout immediately spread. Immediately, the eyes of everyone around were focused. Is this Mu Wanqing? A subversive member of the Wood Spirit dynasty, and a godless person. She has destroyed all the statues in Huangchao Nei, so why is she qualified to come here? Countless people started talking. It was a big event that the Mu Ling dynasty abolished the idols. You need to know that in the entire Great Ruins realm, every force needs to worship the gods. This is already a conventional habit, and at the same time, it is also a practical need. After all, gods can manifest and their power is supreme. Today's Mu Ling dynasty is a complete alien. But Mu Wanqing was very indifferent, and she and Xiling walked towards their seats. Wang Feng followed them step by step. The old ghost, is he following you? At this time, a hidden old man in the crowd stared at Mu Wanqing and his party. He is one of the hidden controllers of the ghost-killing array. He comes from the Xianshui sect and knows the purpose of this conference. His words were so soft that they were almost inaudible, and neither Zi Ling nor Mu Wanqing noticed them. However, Wang Feng paused slightly at this moment. Wang Feng at this moment, in a sense, it cannot be said to be Wang Feng, because the old ghost and ghost have already possessed him. At this moment, a flash of surprise flashed in Wang Feng's eyes, and he looked in the direction of the Xianshui sect old man in disbelief. It is a ghost, and the ghost's perception of human speech is very terrifying. He found me? There was a hint of surprise in Goichi's eyes. But when the old man of Xianshui sect saw Goichi's eyes, he smiled slightly and nodded. Damn, he really found me. Goichi was suddenly shocked. He was a 1,000-year-old ghost who had accomplished cultivation. As a result, as soon as he came here, he was seen through. No way, no way. Regardless, he bit the bullet and continued to follow Ziling and the others. However, after taking a few steps, Wang Feng was startled again, because he felt the same gaze again. Something is very wrong. As an old ghost, Goichi feels that something is very wrong today. But what's wrong? He couldn't even think of it through his head. At this moment, Ziling and Mu Wanqing were already seated. Everyone has arrived, and the festival can begin. A loud voice sounded, and the speaker was Mo Xian, the leader of Xianshui section. He was presiding over this god-worshipping festival. He stood up and said, "This year, there is a special gift for the god sacrifice ceremony. The Yanggui dynasty has prepared a yin spirit for the gods, Pegasus." He shouted. Suddenly, everyone in the venue was shocked. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 450. Pegasus. As soon as these two words came out, everyone around them exclaimed. Pegasus, that is the legendary sacred creature. It has long been extinct in the earthly world, it can only exist in some strange underworlds. The Yanggui dynasty found a place in the underworld. What a great opportunity! No wonder the ancestor was able to break through to the realm of the gods. There was a lot of discussion. Under the altar of sacrifice, 4 powerful cultivators had already pushed a prison cart up. The prison car was made of crystal, and various formations were applied to the crystal. And in the crystal prison car, it was clearly visible that there was a snow-white pony. The whole body is snow-white, without any variegation, surrounded by sacred silver light, and on the pony's head, there is a crystal-clear jasper-like horn. It's really a Pegasus, and that unicorn is proof of that. Pegasus, also known as unicorn, is the purest and purest creature in the world, possessing the fastest speed in the world. It's amazing that such creatures can reappear one day. Even if they are yin spirits, they are of infinite value and are enough to please the gods. Hey, this time, the Yanggui dynasty is really well prepared. They are really going to become the samurai god section. Countless people were very moved, with envy in their eyes. Even though this Pegasus is a yin spirit, it is too miraculous. Pushed onto the altar, the snow-white horse in the crystal prison was obviously resisting. Its copper bell-like eyes were hazy with mist, but they contained anger at the moment. It raised its hoof and kicked on the crystal. But a light suddenly flashed on the crystal, shaking it open. Really Pegasus? Mu Wanqing looked at the divine beast in the crystal cage and was amazed. Ziling looked at Tianma, a trace of confusion flashed in her beautiful big eyes. At this moment, Tianma seemed to sense her and swooped towards the cage in her direction, striking hard with his horn. But, it's no use. Besides Ziling and the other two, Wang Feng had a flash of evil greed in his eyes at this moment. It's actually the Pegasus yin spirit, good thing, good thing. He clenched his fists, he must get this is very important to the Ghost Master. At this moment, a trace of ghostly energy could not help but emanate from him. The other side. It's amazing. Even Mo Xian was a little emotional. Yang Dingtian was extremely proud at this moment. He had already anticipated the sensation caused by the Pegasus Yinling. Huh? Yes, there is indeed a ghost. At this time, Gu Changfeng, the head of the Qingyang sect, suddenly spoke. In his hand, a jade pendant appeared. This jade pendant coincides with the ghost-killing formation they set up. When a ghost is detected, the jade pendant will react. At this moment, the jade pendant is shining with a reddish light. It seems that under the temptation of Pegasus, the ghost has already entered the urn. Mo Xian spoke with great joy on his face. The reason why I brought the Pegasus up first was to make that old ghost show up. According to the time, the god's survey of the sky should be here. Gu Changfeng also spoke. They have contacted the gods they serve through various methods and told them everything. And the gods they worship are actually wandering gods. At the level of wandering gods, they need to travel around the world, observing the way of heaven and earth, and absorbing incense on the other hand. When the incense is accumulated enough and the avenue resonates, you can go one step further and become a true god above the wandering gods, and then you can be qualified to enter the divine realm. Therefore, even if it is a sect serving the gods, it is often difficult to contact them on weekdays. At most, they have to use some incense and dharma bodies of the gods to get help from the gods. But, now the gods, should be arriving in this area soon. It means you can take action. Mo Xian, the leader of Xianshui sect, immediately raised his hand and said, "Quiet." The words contained powerful spiritual power, and suddenly the place fell silent. Mo Xian turned to stare at Mu Wanqing and others, and shouted solemnly. "Haha, we set up this trap today just to catch the old ghost behind you. Now that the old ghost is here, you scum who took refuge in ghosts and ungodly people, should die." As soon as he finished speaking, the whole field suddenly erupted into shouts of killing. "Kill the evil spirits! Kill the evil spirits! Kill the evil spirits!" Dozens of powerful men in the realm of refining gods shouted. They were all the controllers of the ghost-slaying array hidden in the crowd, and they finally appeared at this moment. At the same time, with the altar as the center, a powerful Shinto aura suddenly emanated. The two statues of gods on the sacrificial altar even had divine light shooting out, and the divine light suddenly filled the area. The divine light has imprisoned this world, and it is impossible for ghosts to escape. The crowd was shocked, and everyone exclaimed, "What's going on with all this? What happened?" Many people from the sect hurriedly asked questions. Everyone. At this time, Gu Changfeng, Mo Xian, and other members of the four major Shishan sects, as well as Yang Dingtian and others, had already stood up. Mo Xian shouted loudly and said, "Behind the monster Mu Wanqing, there is an old ghost. This old ghost is trying to disrupt the situation in the entire eastern wasteland, trying to destroy the great ruins realm, and trying to subvert the gods. We were ordered by the gods to take this festival as an opportunity to set up a ghost-slaying formation just to capture the old ghost behind Mu Wanqing. Now, the old ghost behind her has arrived." Hearing this, everyone in the venue was in an uproar. Is there something behind Mu Wanqing? My God, it is extremely difficult for creatures like ghosts to be born. Are they actually going to appear here? No wonder Mu Wanqing dares to abolish the statue. It turns out there is a ghost behind him. Everyone exclaimed. The people around Mu Wanqing and Xiling were running away in panic at this moment, like avoiding snakes and scorpions. In an instant, Mu Wanqing and Xiling were completely empty. In addition to the two of them, Wang Feng was also standing behind them. At this moment, Wang Feng's expression was extremely strange. Damn, the old ghost behind Mu Wanqing? Isn't this what you are talking about? Aren't you just standing behind these two girls? It turns out that these grandsons have discovered their existence a long time ago. Moreover, he also prepared such a ghost-slaying formation, waiting for him. Grass. I haven't done anything yet I've just appeared and been targeted like this, what a bully. Even though he is a ghost, he feels extremely angry at this moment. At this moment, Gu Changfeng and others, the head of the Qingyang sect opposite, started the ceremony to invite the gods. The two statues of gods on the sacrificial altar both turned into phantoms of gods at this moment. The real gods have not yet arrived, but they have already awakened the Dharmakaya of the gods. These two Dharma bodies are the strongest among all the Dharma bodies of the Green Yang god and the Xuanhuan god. They believe that they are definitely enough to kill an old ghost. Damn old ghost, why don't you get out of here quickly? Do you think you can hide behind two girls? Gu Changfeng roared at this moment, his eyes filled with hatred. His son's cultivation was wiped out because of that old ghost, and he became a cripple who cannot be saved by the gods. Dirty and despicable ghost, get out if you can. Even if you are a ghost, I will kill you again today. He yelled angrily. But at this moment, Ziling and Mu Wanqing were a little confused. What's going on? Why are these people so grand? Are you and others, people who have taken refuge in ghosts? This is wrong. Just when they were in a mess, Wang Feng behind them had already stepped out. Wang Feng's face was filled with unprecedented sinisterness and coldness. He stared at Gu Changfeng and suddenly said angrily, "Damn it, I won't act anymore, now that you guys have discovered it, you all, I'm going to eat them all." The words fell. Wang Feng's body suddenly split open, turned into a pool of blood. And at the same place, a sinister wind blew, and an old ghost wearing a grey robe, with grey-yellow skin and a sinister expression had appeared. Under the light of the gods, it has appeared. Everyone was in an uproar. Is there really a ghost? Mu Wanqing and Ziling were also stunned for a moment. What's going on? I'm so busy that I don't even have a single copy of this chapter to save. It's too difficult. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 451. The ghost-slaying formation was fully activated, and divine light enveloped the field. At this moment, the wind was blowing, and an evil aura was exuding from the ashen-faced old ghost. It was cold and threatening. Everyone was shocked. There is really a ghost. Very scary. Fortunately all the major sects have been prepared. Everyone spoke one after another. When Gu Changfeng, Mo Xian, and others saw this, they were overjoyed. This old ghost is indeed here. He has already entered the ghost-killing formation and there is absolutely no way he can escape. I have long guessed that there is an old ghost behind you, Mu Wanqing. Today, you will all die. Gu Changfeng sneered. But Mu Wanqing was even more confused. What the hell is this? She and Ziling were both confused about the situation. But Gu Changfeng had already shouted loudly and said, "Kill this ghost!" Arakai. In an instant, thousands of divine lights intertwined, and the two sculptures in the center of the altar transformed into gods and bodies that were more than 10 feet high. At this moment, the divine power blasted towards the old ghost. The evil ghost will be killed. The indifferent words of the two gods suddenly sounded. However, the old ghost's eyes suddenly shot out two green lights. The little wandering god Dharmakaya should also be rampant. His pale and old hand suddenly grabbed it. In an instant, the sky dimmed, the divine light disappeared, and the entire area seemed to have turned into a ghostly ghost because of his grasp. Everyone was horrified, and the array controllers standing at the entrances of each array were vomiting blood and looking pale. The two divine Dharma bodies were even more shocked at this moment. No. What a powerful evil force. Invincible. The two great gods and Dharma bodies were actually panicked, and they tried their best to take action. However, when the cold wind passed by, the two sculptures cracked directly. Boom! The sculpture of the god instantly turned into powder. Went out. The Dharma bodies of these two gods were the core of the ghost-slaying formation. They were destroyed in an instant, and the ghost-slaying formation was completely finished. No. How can this be? Can't the two great gods and the Dharma body plus the ghost-slaying formation be able to subdue this old ghost? Mo Xian and others were all frightened. Isn't this old ghost too powerful? Quick, please call God. Is God here? Some people even shouted in despair. Please God help me. Qingyang sect, Gu Changfen, and others all shouted in horror. And at this moment, in the east wasteland sky, two figures came side by side. One of them had green ripples flashing on his body, while the other was wearing a mysterious robe and had a thin face. Their aura is extremely extraordinary, and there are auspicious clouds at their feet. These are two gods. Brother Liu Yang Taoist, by absorbing the incense during this god-worshipping festival, you and I can take a step further in our cultivation. The god in the mysterious robe smiled slightly, with expectation on his face. The incense power of all believers will be temporarily stored in their statues and dharma bodies, and they will come back to collect it during the festival. Of course, but the most important thing is what the Xuanhuan true God has told me. If we can do it, you and I can even directly receive the divine gift, obtain the fruition status, and enter the divine realm. Liu Yang's eyes were burning. The two of them are already respected as gods in the Great Ruins world. But that's just the honorific title given to them by ordinary cultivators. They are just wandering gods. Although wandering god has touched things in the realm of Shinto, he has no fruition status. The journey of cultivating a god is extremely difficult. In addition to one's own cultivation, starting from the realm of a true god also requires the recognition of the universe and heaven. To gain recognition is to achieve the fruition status. There are two ways to obtain fruition status. The first is to go against the will of heaven and ask and rob the fruition status from the heavenly law of the universe. However, doing so is extremely dangerous and will lead to horrific catastrophes. The offender will almost die. The second is a gift from God. The meaning of divine gift is that higher level gods can provide shelter for lower level gods, allowing them to avoid natural disasters and obtain fruition status. There are extremely few practitioners who choose the first path. Unless they are desperate, they will try it against the will of the gods, and the outcome is often tragic. And God's gift is the choice of almost all wandering gods. Find the true God, serve for him, and receive divine gifts. However, the realm that can be reached through this God-given path is also limited. It is said that in some higher realms, if you want to obtain the attainment status, you still need to complete certain rituals. Those rituals are so mysterious that low-end practitioners have never even heard of them. The true God of Xuanhuan has an order, either to find the so-called Ghost Lord, or to obtain the original principles of the Great Ruins realm in order to give us the divine gift. Both are difficult. Xuanhuan sighed. Xuanhuan is the true God they are following. Yes, the Great Ruins realm is nothing more than the star realm, and the strongest person in the past and present is no more than the wandering god. It is extremely difficult to give birth to ghosts. Liu Yangyushan spoke helplessly. Not everyone can become a ghost if they want to. It can only happen when the strong fall weak. It's quite difficult. I'm afraid there isn't even a ghost in the Great Ruins realm, let alone the so-called Ghost Lord. In contrast, it is more possible to obtain the original principles. In the universe, when the original principles evolve, a new world will be born. It can be said that the original Tao is the foundation of every world. It's a pity that Yunyang Gai is too stubborn. Xuanhuan Yushan said. Yunyang is the wandering god from the Yun family in Zhongzhou. The Yun family is an ancient family of gods in the entire Degzu world. It is said that the first god in the Degzu world came from the Yun family. Therefore, the Yun family became the guardian family of the original Taoism. Over the years, the two of them had used coercion and inducement, but Yun Yang, the wandering god of the Yun family, did not agree. The Yun family even married another god family, the Zhan family, to fight against Liu Yang and Xuanhuan, causing them a lot of headaches. That's all. The mission given by the true God is not easy. You and I should first absorb the incense power of this world's God-worshipping festival and become more complete in the realm of wandering gods. Liu Yang spoke. The two of them continued to move forward. They soared through the clouds and mist at extremely fast speeds. In the blink of an eye, they were already above the three divine states. Huh? No. Suddenly Xuanhuan's expression changed and he said, I feel, my body is broken. His eyes were very ugly. You must know that the incense of the world is stored in their statues and dharma bodies. But now he feels like his dharma body is broken, the power of the incense is wasted. Mine too, what happened? The face of God Liu Yang also changed drastically, and he said, there is such a strong ghost energy below. Could it be said that ghosts have appeared in our world? The two wandering gods looked at each other with great solemnity and immediately fell down. Sanshenzo, sacrificial altar. The bodies of the two gods were directly shattered. The yin energy is overwhelming and the ghost energy is dense. Seeing that terrifying old ghost, Xian and others' livers and gallbladders were already broken at this moment. Want to ambush me? You alone are worthy enough. Goichi's face was angry, and he grabbed it with his claws. Gu Changfeng screamed and was grabbed by him. Swallowed in one gulp. Everyone was even more shocked. Spare your life, spare your life. Why hasn't God come yet? Xian and others had fallen to the ground, their faces pale. The old ghost did not attack them again, but turned his head and looked at the Pegasus yin spirit in the crystal cage. This is the main purpose of his visit this time. He was ready to take action. But, right now. Suddenly, the sacred aura suddenly fell from the sky. What kind of ghost dares to cause trouble in the eastern wasteland? Court death. The roars of two gods came. In the sky, two divine figures appeared. The wandering god Liu Yang exudes green light, making the sky tremble. The wandering god Xuanhuan has thousands of mysterious lights, and the endless avenues are in harmony with it, and it is supremely sacred. God Green Sun. God Xuanhuan. Help! Everyone shouted, as if they had seen a savior. However, at this moment, the old ghost just raised his evil eyes and glanced upward. You little wandering god, dare to take action against me. His eyes were full of contempt and disdain. Then, he opened his mouth and took a breath. With this inhalation, the yin qi is vast and the space is distorted. In the sky, the expressions of the two menacing gods changed greatly at this moment. No. At this moment, the hairs all over Liu Yang Shangshen's body were exploding, and he felt as if a ghost was holding his throat. My soul, he is sucking my soul. Xuanhuan screamed even more miserably, his whole body was in convulsions, almost convulsing. At the same time, both of them felt that the power of their souls was dissipating and being sucked away. If it continues, the two wandering gods may fall directly in the blink of an eye. The talisman of the true God. Liu Yangyushan shouted and suddenly crushed a jade talisman. It was given by the true God Xuanhuan. At this moment, a dazzling divine light burst out, tearing the void apart instantly. Run away! Liu Yangyushan and Xuanyuan were like bereaved dogs at this moment, running away in a hurry, urinating, and their figures disappeared directly from Fang Tianyu. Seeing this scene, everyone was dumbfounded. The gods were so frightened that they ran away.